damage. That's what they seem to think. So we'll see. But probably good news. How was Toronto?
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
Really cold.
Yeah, I bet.
It's really cold. I mean, like really cold.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like cold. It's like it was really cold, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, nice, man. Happy to hear it. All right. Well, yeah, it was not a great DFS weekend for me. It was a sort of looked like it was going to be. It was a beautiful Saturday. Everything was going perfectly, and just couldn't get all the right pieces. Took too many shots on the cheap receivers that didn't get there. How did you do? And then we'll get into tonight's slate.
Got crushed. I went over this earlier, but ready to get after it this week.
Yeah, I'm just playing a couple lineups tonight, but it's a nice little 7-gamer. We have the big one on Wednesday, obviously.
Yep.
It's an interesting slate because there's such obvious value that people are going to go towards, but the spend ups, I think you could make a pretty compelling case for Giannis, Luka, Embiid, and I think it's possible definitely to play two of them if you want to. How are you sort of finding your builds looking?
Well, I'm playing the Alexander Walker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fading that, and playing the other kind of that same value everybody else is playing. I guess. I mean, Xavier Tillman, Kyle Anderson, Jaden Ivey. I'm playing, I guess, Patrick Williams. I don't play him too often.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm not really getting to too much. I mean, I get like 25% Embiid and like 15% Luka and like 15% Giannis, but nothing major.
Mm-hmm.
Derek White, I'm playing some of. I mean, it's typical middling type builds for me. I kind of want to stack that Toronto game. That's what I kind of want to do. I want to play a bunch of guys in that game. I want to play Scotty Barnes, and I don't really want to play Gary Trent again. But I don't know what to do with that. But I think I want to play Scotty Barnes and I want to play RJ Barrett. And I think I want to play quickly. Those are the guys I want to play.
Yeah. And I think Jaren Jackson and Vince Williams are reasonable on the other side. I actually don't mind Kennard. Conchar is supposed to be starting at 3,900, and I don't know why I guess the projections just don't like him. But I think that's another. I mean, there's definitely a lot of value there. I guess Conchar actually is he's getting more ownership than I thought. But that's another one of those value pieces, and that you definitely could make a case for stacking up that game, including look, we haven't got the big minutes game mostly out of Porter, but I think it's kind of an interesting, pivot off of some of the chalk. You said you like, and I have Tillman currently too. You have two players, and you were pretty sharp on this one the other night, but it looks like Wendell Carter is getting his starting job back basically, and are we really shouldn't we be playing him over Tillman, I guess is my question.
It's a good question.
It feels like the better play, but I actually think they're both reasonable. I think you can play both of them as your centers. I just happen to like Embiid a lot, and I like Luka a lot today, so I'm probably going to end up with a lot of having to pick between Tillman and
that is a good question. Why aren't we playing more Carter?
Yeah, it feels like I don't know. Maybe the projections don't. I honestly I'm trying to figure out what the projections don't like about him. Maybe him officially starting will change some of the love. I don't know. It just feels like a little bit.
I gotta get Hello.
All right, so I personally am going to go out there and say I think Carter is a slightly better player than Tillman, but I absolutely have no issue with Tillman personally. I am going to be more on the Carter side, but I certainly don't mind either way. And I am going to be playing Embiid, and probably I'm playing two big lineups, two lineups, and Embiid will probably be in both of them. With all that with those Philly guys out, you kind of maybe want to talk yourself into maybe that game stays close,
Which guys are out?
Beverly, Melton. That's why Daniel House even shows up a little bit. Also why, Kelly Oubre looks like a little bit of a better play. But I think both Maxey and Embiid, I think, are both terrific plays. I think you can play them together, but sort of need things to go a certain way. And then also, look, if you wanted to get creative, just throw it out there that Wembanyama gets to 50 a lot more than he doesn't. If we just didn't look at the minutes. And speaking of the minutes, his minutes, he's played 27, 26, and 27. That's more than those 24 that we've been told. So
that is true.
Maybe we can look at a little something there. I think think it's reasonable at low ownership, but hard when there's so many other guys. Where did you get to many Bulls? Because I feel like that's the other spot that I was trying to.
Yeah, getting a bunch of Vooch. That's what and Patrick Williams.
Yeah, Vooch, Patrick Williams. I think that DeRozan is really interesting. And I think that like Kobe White's being underprojected for what it's worth.
Okay.
So I like Kobe White. I like the idea of getting one of Vooch, DeRozan, or White.
Is this Memphis Toronto game a game that can deliver? You know what I mean? Like, you think this can
yeah. Yeah, like I mean, you're going to get it's pretty decent ownership on Toronto as well. But I like the Scotty Barnes idea. I don't mind Quickly or Barrett. I'm not as I guess that I accidentally ended up just with pieces from that game. Like I don't mind Kennard and Tillman, but Jaren Jackson Jr. obviously you need the game to stay close, and Vince Williams. I think those guys are the two interesting pieces you could look at as a run back. I don't know if I'd want to play like Barnes with Quickly and Barrett, but Barnes with one of them, sure. And I have no issue, even though like we know what Gary Trent is, okay? Like he's going to have good games where you're going to be like, why didn't we play him? And he's going to have bad games where you're like, what the hell are we doing playing a chalky Gary Trent?
Right.
He's not as chalky as he was. So I'm totally okay with the idea of playing him just because the minutes are pretty secure and you hope he can shoot his way into a decent game. But you look at the last game, like, I mean, he played 25 minutes, 6 of 10 from the floor, 4 of 8 from 3, and still only had 22 fantasy points. Not that exciting. But yeah, so I think that there is.
You like anything Boston with Porzingis out? And you like any of those big guys?
I like everybody on. I feel like Boston. I think everybody looks reasonable. I don't think the big guys stand out for me particularly.
Oh, because Porzingis was out.
Yeah, Horford and Porzingis. We've just gotten used to this same thing. Horford basically never gets there, and we still do it sometimes. Okay, like I just don't see it as a priority in any way. It would be Tatum if I had to pick one. Tatum, then Brown, then White for me, but I'm totally good with all the starters.
What do you think of Jaden McDaniels?
I think there's absolutely no reason. If you play Jaden McDaniels today, just play him every day. I don't think there's any benefit for him whatsoever today. I don't see him as being.
So Conley being out doesn't really help him, is what you're saying?
No, it doesn't benefit him in any way. I don't think. So extremely low usage. Like Gary Trent's higher usage than he is. I guess that would be the way I would look at it. I guess.
Yeah.
He's always going to play minutes, so you're fine anytime you want to play him. I'm never going to say no or yes, but we have seen absolutely no sign of the ceiling in 4 years, and it's not like he's 3K. So
I really like that Carter for his Tillman thing. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that is too. I like that one. Jolly's asking about Grant Williams. Sure, like you know what I mean. It's just the same. Like Grant Williams, House, like definitely the Minnesota value is better than that stuff, but I don't know. Grant Williams can always have a game. It's his former team. Sure, he's 3,700. I have no issue with Grant Williams, I guess is my answer. I just don't see these guys as being all that different. Yeah, maybe a little Grant Williams revenge is fine. Yeah, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, like I'm playing him. I'm not fading it, but I don't think this is like I'm not going to feel surprised at all if he has like 10 fantasy points. I just think he's always been a guy with a range of outcomes, and this is no different. So I'm playing Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I don't feel like amazing about it. I also am getting to Naz Reid some. I understand he's projecting, and it's not just the Conley thing. It's just the minutes have been pretty consistently in the 20s, and he's basically just too cheap for his production. You know.
When we talked earlier today, well, first of all, do we have any confirmation on Anthony Edwards yet?
Not yet. Okay. I'm presuming that he plays, but You're right. I mean, that changes everything.
It was a later downgrade. I mean,
It's true. He tends to play through tough things more than most guys, but still, you're right. It is. I think it's, yeah. I mean, obviously, we know what the answer is. If he's out, you're definitely playing Nikhil Alexander-Walker. You probably are playing some Naz Reid, and you're definitely playing some Towns. I think Towns becomes values.
And like I said, it makes the game closer.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Kyle Anderson and Naz Reid?
I mean, now Kyle Anderson is so freaking cheap.
Yeah. So that was what I was running into. I like Kyle Anderson just raw, like better than Grant Williams, I guess. But I actually think Grant Williams is not a bad pivot if you're going to get creative.
Grant Williams.
That's the Williams I think he's like, for Dallas.
Okay.
Because he's 3,700 also. And he's going to have zero ownership. And he is facing his former team. His minutes have fluctuated, but he certainly has upside on his minutes. And you know my theory, part of why I love Luka tonight so much is, and I also, by the way, if I wasn't playing Luka, I would absolutely be talking about Kyrie. I think both of them are really interesting tournament. I think Luka's the obvious play. Kyrie's an interesting tournament play, also against his former team. But I like the Luka thing. I think that the best players, we just see it. The tougher the matchup, it doesn't matter as much for guys like Luka. You know what I mean? You're just going to see more focus on him because they're going to have to try and keep up with Boston's scoring. So I just think it's a day where I really would be. I'd be surprised if Luka scored less than 65. And if he does, I would think that means Kyrie probably has 60 or something. So I would probably just use those as my main spend ups along with Embiid. But I do like the Scotty Barnes play that you mentioned. I like the Bulls stuff. I like I think the Celtics all are reasonable. So there's a lot of ways you can build today that certainly makes some sense. I personally am going for the all the way up stuff with Luka and Embiid, but I have no issue if you wanted to balance it out and play more of the, I don't know, the Scotty Barnes, the Bulls guys, that kind of thing. Jolly's playing 4 from Dallas. I think that's way too many. I have no idea why you're doing that.
From Dallas or Memphis? From Dallas?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems.
I don't know why you'd be playing 4 from Dallas personally.
Yeah,
I would go probably. I probably would max out around 2, and maybe there would be a way I could have a third, but I don't think so. I think playing more than that is you're really asking for it.
What is Wendell Carter Jr. on FanDuel? He's having this.
Wendell Carter Jr. On FanDuel, he is 66, so it's expensive. Well, he's actually an interesting tournament play. So yeah, that's the core. Like the Minnesota value we'll see about, and also like if somehow Edwards does get announced out, and obviously the delay, delaying your players' start times is definitely valuable. But it's hard to do because I like the Embiid thing early on. Philadelphia offers some value, with I think Oubre is reasonable enough. I think that Maxi's a good play. Yeah, I guess I would have Maxi ahead of Kyrie, but I think they're both actually good tournament plays.
We want to take another shot at LaMelo or no?
Not in this matchup.
Yeah.
But he is too cheap. So I guess the question is, like, I like a lot of the spend ups today, so I am not getting to him. But yeah, it's probably a really interesting. It's a really interesting tournament play that he's 8,900. He's going to be less than 2% on probably. K9 asking about ranking. He wants me to rank the Minnesota value. So I don't feel overwhelmingly excited about all this stuff, but I am playing it. I also think the potential blowout of Charlotte does help me want to play some of these fringier things like Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Kyle Anderson. So I would go Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Kyle Anderson, Naz Reid, period. That's it. And I actually like Naz. I actually feel safer with Naz Reid than I do with the other guys, but he's just more expensive.
Did I ask you this already? Did I ask you if you're playing FanDuel? I think I'm going to play FanDuel.
I'm not playing on FanDuel, no. I got in it was a late day, so I just got my DraftKings in there. Luca, Green, Hardaway, Williams. Yeah, I hate that, Jolly. I think it's terrible, personally. Just want to be direct as always. He's playing Luca, Josh Green, Hardaway, and Williams, and I just can't do that myself.
Yeah, it doesn't
all literally cut into each other. Like, it's the weirdest thing.
It does not seem like the best.
Yeah. Edwards is in. Thank you, Brendan. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Cleveland, Orlando's going to break the slate. Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? I mean,
why?
I mean, like it's like it's a terribly low total, but it's like a competitive game. It's like
right.
Donovan Mitchell's on the court. You know what I mean? I totally can see it.
I can see Donovan Mitchell. I have no interest in anybody but Wendell Carter. I think Cole Anthony would, as a tournament dart, would be my next most. Maybe Jalen Suggs, I guess. Okay. I mean, Anthony Black is starting. He's 3,100. I know we've had this all year with Anthony Black, but we did not think he'd be starting today. So the projections probably haven't updated. He's probably going to look like a better value. Wait, is he? Yeah, he is starting. I mean, it's playing with fire playing that guy, but he's going to get 20 enough of the time probably.
Like Tyrese Maxey at all?
A lot.
Okay.
I really like Mitchell. I just can't quite get to the Mitchell thing and not just go up to Luka personally.
Tillman. I mean, Tillman's not even officially in.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, I get worried. That's why I didn't want to stack. I mean, I like the idea because you've got all the cheap pieces. Are we making a mistake? And again, I don't know the answer to this one, so I really am asking. Do you think maybe it's a mistake that because of a couple disappointing and not really playing as much that Gregory Jackson is just totally off of our radar?
Yeah, that would be really
it feels like a troll game. Like
it's so appropriate.
Yeah, like it's the same situation. He just didn't get the run we thought he would. That's it.
Yeah. Has there been a game since that game?
Well, the problem is the last game they lost by 30, so it's kind of hard to judge that one. So those are the only two. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, like if you're like I would play him, but I would be very aware that this is a tournament dart. Like, you know what I mean? Like things have to work out a certain way, but there is certainly the upside.
I was just saying, Nickeil Alexander Walker's 4,400 on FanDuel. Konchar's 4,100 on FanDuel.
So crazy this game. Like everybody always asks me, like, "Oh, do you play this? You must have played this person. You must." I'm like, whoever the worst guy you can think of, because most people don't know these players' names in the NBA. The three worst guys you can think of are usually going to be the most popular players in the slate. It's never the great players that are the chalk, you know.
Right. It's always the Greg Jacksons.
It's always Gregory Jackson. I keep getting stuck though in this like 6,300 to 5,500 range on guard, and I just don't really want to play the 5,400 Kennard that badly. Like I'm okay with it, but it's kind of meh. I just keep ending up there. I can't really figure out what to do with it. I think that this Anthony Black is going to project a lot better in like 10 minutes, just for what it's worth.
Anthony Black?
Because he wasn't projected to start, and he's starting. So,
yeah, I'm not playing him.
I don't think I am either, but he's 3,100. Just throwing it out there. I don't mind it though. like I mean, do I feel good about Daniel House? You know, I feel okay about Kyle Anderson, but I don't feel like it's like an automatic play by any means. I guess that's the other thing with Minnesota is like how many of Nickeil Alexander, Walker, Kyle Anderson, and Naz Reid would you put in the same lineup? I think you probably want to do 2, not 3, but I do think that 3 is probably viable enough because the matchup's good and it could be a blowout. LeVert is out. That's interesting.
What's that? Who?
LeVert is out.
Okay.
I guess that just makes Max Struss and Donovan Mitchell better plays.
Yeah.
I don't think it really does a whole lot elsewhere. I'm curious though. Maybe if they it looks like they haven't released their starting lineup yet, so we'll see what they. I mean, he wasn't starting anyway, so I don't think they would change it. Or actually, did he start the last one? No, he didn't. So Dean Wade to start. That's Cam. I'm on the exact same page as you. Embiid, Wendell Carter Jr. in the center spot. That's my build right now. I think it's Embiid or Wendell Carter Jr. And I think that you could play Wendell Carter Jr. and Tillman if you didn't want to do the Embiid thing. But I also like Vooch a little bit. But I personally would rather just be. I mean, what does Embiid have to do? It's so hard for him not to smash. I don't know.
He smashes every game.
Even if he puts up 60, that's still a good number for his price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out those are my current spots that are filled out. Just to be honest, I've Embiid, Luka, Wendell Carter, Kyle Anderson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's the basis. Now I need to figure out the other pieces.
Like Tobias Harris at all?
Tobias Harris is just the same thing. I guess it's a little bit of an upgrade with the guards both out, but I don't think it's enough for me to look. If I ended up there, I'd be fine, but I have no desire to try to play Tobias Harris. Go out of my way to do it. Oh, what am I going to do with the rest of my lineups? This is really tricky.
And okay, so Edwards is in.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on Tillman confirmation if you want to know the truth.
Tillman, anybody changes starting lineup, that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
We don't really have any other Q marks. Ball and what's it called are both probable. I guess Eric Gordon's questionable technically, so is Cody Martin. But I don't really know what that's going to do. Grayson Allen and Eric Gordon are both questionable in that Phoenix game. If both of them sat, you probably are looking at some value, but I think they would probably take both of them. I guess Gordon would be fine if Grayson Allen sits.
Yeah, let's get rid of LeVert. So who are we gonna bump up a little bit? We'll give
Mitchell
another couple of points.
Stress.
Give Struss another couple of points. That's probably it, right? I mean,
yeah, unless they did something different. I guess Dean Wade is probably going to project a little bit better starting, but I'm not going to play him.
Yeah, these games with the blowout risk are a little annoying.
What sucks is there's been so many of them too. They've all hit lately. All the blowout risks have been blowouts.
Oh, and they've all busted?
Yeah, it just feels like it's happened every day last week. Any thoughts on Trey Jones?
I didn't think about him.
That's fine. I certainly am not playing him. I don't see because he put up a big game without Wembanyama, or I guess Wembanyama did play that one, right? Yeah, he did play that one. I don't care that he had a big game. Doesn't really mean anything to me. It's Washington. So yes, he's been good though. For what it's worth, I don't think Trey Jones is bad. I just am not playing him myself. Too many games where he plays really well and puts up 30 fantasy points. It just doesn't feel great. Nas or Patrick Williams with Ant already in it? Oh God. I think both are. I think Nas is a better play than Patrick Williams 1-1. If I was already, so you're already playing Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Kyle Anderson also? Which of those two are you playing? So I guess that's the question I would ask. And I guess Patrick Williams is kind of my sad answer if you're playing already too.
So you're playing Embiid in both your big bios?
Oh, you mean with Ant playing is Nas? Okay. Yeah, that Nas thing. Nas Reed has been putting up 30 every game and doesn't. Anybody that's without anybody out. What was that, Sheets? Sorry.
You're playing Embiid, right?
Yeah. What am I missing here? Oh, Gallinari. Yeah. I guess if you want to play him at 38 on FanDuel, sure. I'm not playing him for what it's worth. But yeah, we've seen him get there before. He's on the different team now, so he's not going to play probably more than 16 or 18 minutes, but you can get there. I'm not doing it. MJ always likes Sam Merrill, I feel like. He's always hyping up the Sam Merrill train. Yeah, why not? You know what? Why not? Why not take a Sam Merrill too? I have no issue with that. I wouldn't count on the minutes being that he's going to play 30 minutes like he did in the last game. That was a massive blowout also. But he's been really good. He's been over 20 fantasy points now, like 8 games in a row, which for 4,800, hey, that's not too bad. Toronto might run Memphis out of the building. That is absolutely true. So let's see. What else do we have here? I'm going to be out of here probably in like 4 or 5 minutes, guys. So keep firing the questions in.
Same here.
Cheats will be gone too, it sounds like.
Yep. So just you guys want to put it on your calendars. Wednesday, we're going to do the live sweat.
Yeah, Wednesday we can do the live sweat. Hopefully it'll be a good one.
Yeah, just for you guys know, because it's 2,500 that night, so we're going to do it.
Yeah. It is interesting when you look at just how thin Memphis is in terms of players. And actually, it's somewhat true a little bit for Cleveland. That's my bet of the night, guys. If anybody out there wants to, I didn't post any bets today. I didn't make any bets, but I like the Magic to win outright. They're 2.5 point underdogs at home against Cleveland.
Okay.
And for what it's worth, I got all of the money line bets won this week at least. So I had all the right teams winning.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Jimmy is saying he thinks he saw you on TV at the UFC.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy, that's awesome. You probably did see him.
Was there you got a clip? You got anything?
Yeah, I want to see that too.
I want to see that also.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, congratulations. Shout out to our guy Kenny for winning the mini max in golf.
Oh, let's go. That was awesome.
He won the mini max, shipped it.
That was terrific.
That would it's so crazy how crazy that lineup scored. I think like more points than I've ever seen a lineup score. He won by 23 points, which is really hard to do in a tournament with 200,000 people.
It's like impossible.
It's so nuts, that lineup. I can't even how do you get 800 points in anything? I've never seen that on any sort of DFS score before. It's
except for even LOL, you can get that sometimes.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't know. Maybe another sport I don't know.
But very rarely.
Back in the draft day, so draft day site, what you used to do is you just picked your players. There was no salary, and you get to pick like 12 players every day for your teams.
Okay.
And I literally would clean up on that site. It was the easiest site to ever play on. Also, you had like 9 utility spots. You could play like 7 centers and stuff. It was really fun. Yeah, but you used to just play it. But I had like some of those 12-man things where I scored like 600 on those ones, where the average player was scoring like 60 fantasy points, basically. It was nuts. I guess it was 10 players. It wasn't 6. It wasn't 12.
Am I really gonna have to watch back that entire pay-per-view to see if I was actually
long, right? Are they like 6 hours long?
Yeah.
How long were you there at that place?
6 p.m. till 2 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever done that for a sporting event yet.
You get your money's worth, man. That's for sure.
That's right. Yeah, Caruso. Look, I mentioned before, I think Caruso is fine. I'm absolutely not trying to play him. I'm actually, but yeah, he's the right price. He's probably going to be around 4.5 to 5x as he always is, and the matchup's good. Sure, but I'm definitely not trying to play any of these guys. No, it's totally fine though if you end up there. I would rather play Kelly Oubre than him, for what it's worth. I know what's going to happen here. Philadelphia's going to somehow end up playing like Furkan Korkmaz like 35 minutes or something. All right, fellas. Well, good luck to everybody tonight. We've got a fun week of DFS stuff. So if you don't play DFS regularly, Okoro is the guy you use when you're really desperate, and it's totally okay. Like, there's nothing like wrong. It's a terrible matchup. Everything today would be like the worst time to play him, but it's 4,400. So like he fits in the same conversation with a lot of the other guys. So I am not playing him, but it's always like if you end up on him, okay, I guess. I go out of my way to try not to play guys like that.
All right, guys, I'm gonna run. Good luck, everybody.